and freckled down.
This is Angelica Ross, and you are listening to Unpacking with Eric and Kai.
This is Tariq Ali, and you're listening to Unpacking with Eric and Kyle.
Hi, this is Kyle KP Price.
This is City Council Member Rue Landau.
Hey, y'all, this is Julian King. You're listening to Unpacking with Eric and Kyle.
Hi, everyone. It's Tiny C. Wilson, Miss Philadelphia 2024.
Kenyon L. O'Brien here.
Greetings and salutations. I am Kaylin Allen, and you are listening to Unpacking.
This is Filet, and you're tuned into Unpacking Radio.
What's poppin', Unpackers? This is your host, Malachi, and I'm here with my co-host, Eric, and we are here.
We're here. We're black and we're
other
here.
than. See, I gotta give it. We gotta give an introduction. That's what we do at Unpacking. We gotta give our flowers.
Always,
because if you are living under a rock, and if you're in Philly and you don't know Jacen, you are definitely living under a rock. But y'all gotta know he's internationally known. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him his flowers, and we're gonna talk about how y'all probably know him. But Jacen is vice president of Philly Black Pride, a dynamic force, a leading voice advocating for Black LGBTQ community in Philadelphia. He's spearheading so many initiatives that promote inclusivity, health education. The boy is doing his thing. And Jacen played a pivotal role. He was our co-collaborator in the Safe Philly campaign.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's really heavy. You made me sound really heavy. I'm in my light, soft era, so I wanted to be real light. I didn't want to be so heavy. But hey, y'all, what's up? We gonna be unpacking. Let's go. I'm ready to take my backpack off and get real comfortable.
You was comfortable in the campaign commercial. If y'all haven't seen the full commercial, y'all gotta go. Jacen, where do they go on YouTube to see the full one? Because the girls need to watch you like unpack that bag.
So the irony is, I made a little bloopy. And when I sent the full commercial to Caesar to post on Ballroom Throwbacks, you can see the full commercial on Ballroom Throwbacks. My part was the one that was edited. So what I'm going to do is, when we have the welcome reception on Friday, I'm going to relaunch the commercial on Instagram and social media platforms with my part unedited. So you guys will get to see the unedited part on Friday, April the 25th at noon on Instagram and at 5 p.m. if you come to the opening reception. So you guys get to see the actual bag and see what Eric was talking about, like, me carrying that bag, because it was definitely a lot to unpack in that bag.
Oh, you unpacked a lot. Yes. And for those of you who don't know, the opening reception, we're going to get into it, but the opening reception is on April 25th. And we're also going to the opening reception will also serve as a launch for the Safe Philly campaign. So it's going to be exciting times. Eric, you excited?
I'm really excited, especially because it's Pride, and so everybody gonna be feeling good.
But y'all trying to keep it cute. Y'all like unpacking on me, but let me unpack on y'all because WURD Unpacking is officially broadcasting live from the opening reception. So So let's give it up for unpacking. Let's unpack for the girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Y'all better unpack Philly's only Black queer duo. Y'all better unpack, because listen, it ain't easy out in these streets being Black and queer on radio, especially in Philadelphia. So thank you for those roses. Now listen, Jacen. Over here at Unpacking, we always start the interview with a game. We always gotta keep the mood light. So take off your wig, take the bust down off. Yeah, take that bust down off and get ready to unpack with us. So we have a rapid fire game, and we always make the rapid fire game just for the person. So give us your first thought. Do not be sitting here thinking long. Give us your first thought, because we want to get you caught up. Give us your first thought when we give you these questions. And this game is going to be called Pride and Protection. The first question, is up his alley. The first question is, what's one item you never forget to pack in your overnight bag for a Pride event?
Ooh. They're going to see some of that in the commercial. They're going to see reception. But give us one item.
It's a toss-up between my honey pack or my Fleet Express.
Okay.
Which one is a must-have? If you had to leave one at home, which one you grabbing?
See, I'm not one of those I know my body kind of people, so I definitely got to make sure I got my Fleet Express. Whether I'm topping or bottom, I want to just be cleaned. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. We love to see it. We love a clean top.
No matter the position, right, Kai? I love it. Tops can take a lesson. Take a lesson from Jacen Bowman's book.
Yes. Learn from this.
They don't care.
Because when you go to Pride events, you want to feel real light. I'm all about feeling light and airy. I don't want to feel bloated. And you do a lot of drinking. It's a lot of random out eating food and stuff. You know, you want to
Don't
feel
be
like
gassy. Yeah,
you want to
light,
be in your outfits and
dependable.
you want to be snatched. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Open
yeah,
bar at the open reception.
I ain't say
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
By the
yo,
way,
and
I
you know,
can't wait, Kai, to see what the fits are looking like for the opening reception. I just hope mine get here on time.
listen, mine came and couldn't fit it, but you go here, Eric, with the next question.
Wait, no, Kai, not already. You like,
no, it's not a bad thing. The Dow has lost weight. I done lost 30 pounds. So
oh, the girl's
yeah,
slimming down and now she can't fit her clothes.
yeah. Now it's time for Plan B.
All right, next question. Favorite spot in Philly, Jacen, to unwind after a long day of advocacy work? Because we know you do that. So where you
Favorite
going after?
You know, no matter what, I would say that it would have to be Sampan as an oldie but goodie because their happy hour is like exceptional. And my new favorite place to unwind is Lock Bar. So between Sampan and Lock Bar.
Okay. What is your go-to song that gets you hyped up for a night out during Pride?
Go-to song.
Yep, say that one because I see that thought rolling. Say that one.
I'm gonna drink, they gonna drink, they gonna drink, they gonna.
Hey.
Yeah, that definitely,
That's our era.
that's
That's
our
our era.
era.
Hell yeah.
We're not no young girls. That's our
You know,
era.
you getting dressed, you drinking your Henny and Red Bull, you pre-gaming, you know,
Yeah.
you ready to,
And
you ready
winding.
for the night, you
And
dirty whining, you ready to step into, something more comfortable. You ready to get out in the streets and have a good time, you know?
Period. Yeah, we know. We know.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Now, this is the people are going to see this in the commercial, but give us your favorite protection of choice. You got condoms, dental dams, PrEP, Doxy. What's your go-to, Jacen?
See, that's a loaded question because I don't want people that's watching it to be thinking that I'm just like this sexually ambiguous person because I'm really not. But I will say my go-to is definitely DoxyPep. DoxyPep, whoever decided that we were going to finally have this treatment option for, communities that participate in sex abroad, because I hate that they make it seem like it's a gay thing.
Right, right.
It's great. If you take DoxyPep correctly, it can definitely protect you from the big three, which is syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Um, at the end of the day, you still want to make sure that you are participating in healthy, educated sex. But I'm glad that we do have that DoxyPep that's an extra barrier to protect us. So I would say DoxyPep.
Yeah, and for the girls out there, shout out to the chart that I see going around floating, where it gives you like if you're mixing, weed with alcohol or what do you call it, Molly with poppers, like it gives you the whole breakdown about what's safe. So just shout out to safe sex period.
Absolutely.
I don't even want us to keep calling it safe sex. I just want it to be called educated sex.
Educated sex, that's a better way to
Educated
put it.
sex is what better way to put it because
Be
it's
informed.
you need to be informed.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that intentional sex. It's
Okay.
intention. Yeah.
But sometimes we don't have sex with intentions, and I'm gonna give a little pushback on that.
Well, I'll say the intention is around how you want to show up, right? So you're getting to decide. Yeah, you're getting to decide like, okay, this works for me and this don't. And as a person who has worked the front lines, it is helpful to help people meet them where their intention is. Because sometimes their intention is not yours. We did that condom only thing for years and it did not work.
It didn't.
A lot of us here today, because people pushed the condoms and people said, no, I don't want that. So they did nothing. So shout out to intentionality. Okay, in 3 words or less, Jacen, describe your most memorable Philly Pride moment.
My most memorable Philly Pride moment was probably when I first came out. It was 1999. It was the first time that I ever seen so many black gay men hanging on the corners of 13th Street. And it was crazy to me because for a long time, I knew other gay people existed, but I didn't know that the city had like this like area where like all these black fine gay men was at. And I remember me and my friend, we used to call him Rich Bish, and that was his nickname, but his name was Jeff. He was the only one that was like had a car that could drive. So he used to have this gold Maxima. We would drive around 13th Street in like circles because we were afraid to get out the car. And it was during Pride that I finally got out the car and I met my first boyfriend, Ski. And it was such a memorable moment for me because I remember like what I had on a pair of Guess pencil pocket denim jeans, a red shirt, and a red Gap snap hat that had the like strings in the front because the hat was in the back. And I had that one crossbody Gap book bag on with some Timbs. And I just remember like they kept calling me Big Red all night. So it was like crazy because like I actually got out the car and I was like walking around and talking to people. So like that was like some of my that probably was like my best like first memory of Pride. Like, yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
finally got out that Nissan.
I finally got out that Nissan, yo.
I can see
And
why that's
Lord,
memorable. Yeah.
looking back, I should have stayed in that Nissan.
Ooh,
I mean, come on.
pocket.
If you never had got out the Nissan, we may have not known Jacen Bowman as we know him today. So I'm
That is
happy, and we're
true.
going to celebrate you getting
All
out
things
that
work together.
Nissan. All right, next question for you, Jacen. If you could have dinner with any LGBTQ activist, past, present, dead, or alive, who would it be and why?
Crystal LaBeija.
Ooh, unpack. Yes.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yes.
The reason why it would be Crystal LaBeija is I feel like Crystal LaBeija was such a genius that she had enough tenacity, resilience, confidence, and creativity to completely reject a pageant system in New York City that was not geared towards Black and brown people, and to create her own system that would later become the house ballroom community, and to see where it started as a pageant that was designed for Black and brown queer people that has taken on a life of its own today. I
Yeah.
don't think that she had ever imagined that something that she created would have become this. So I would love to sit and have dinner with her and like just have a conversation with what that looked like for her back in the 60s in comparison to what it's become now.
Absolutely. That would be a great conversation because I want to point out that she was being herself in that moment. She was
Hmm.
speaking truth to power. She cussed them out. And Dominique Morgan made a post today and she was talking about so many times we're like trying to play respectability politics because when you're gay, that's what you're taught to do. Right.
Right.
Like, let me color in the lines. But she was like, if you good at Dominique said, if you good at your job, honey, cuss them folks out, make them mad because at the end of the day, capitalism is going to be capitalism. So if you're good
Yes,
at
it
your
is.
job, even when it's begrudgingly, they will still work with you.
Yep.
Okay, so listen, shout out to Crystal LaBeija for
Right.
changing things.
Taken the wrong way. She looked bad.
Okay,
I'm not saying she isn't beautiful, but she isn't beautiful tonight. Look at Harlow's makeup. It's terrible.
she is nothing of the sort.
But you know, it's funny because a lot of
Legendary.
people don't even understand the intersectionality of Black queer history because ballroom is Black history, ballroom is American history, and the intersectionality of that and white queer culture because the Queen Harlow that Crystal had lost to is from Philadelphia, and Harlow
Oh,
is actually still alive. So
wow.
I was really excited. I had a conversation with Chris Barlett, who is the executive director over at the William Way Center, and he also helps spearhead the William Way Archives. And when I was having this conversation with him, I was asking him, like, I want to have a conversation with Harlow because I would love to understand how that moment shaped her afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got to hear that part.
So we
So
never
that
got to hear that part. We got to see ballroom and Crystal's experience. I still am curious to know, well, how did Harlow's life change after that moment?
maybe
It's
that'll
giving
be
production. Maybe you're gonna be the one to unpack that for us,
sounds like a
Jacen.
documentary.
It's
with
giving
that.
documentary.
It's
Absolutely.
giving Netflix series. It's giving movie. It's giving play. It's
You better
giving
line
yes.
it up.
Listen, let's you
Yes.
you have my funders call your funders, and we'll meet in the middle. Listen, I
Call
got
my
It's
something.
machine,
giving
I call yours.
it's giving. Don't you know Harlow?
Listen, y'all heard the name here. Now it's copyrighted. Y'all don't steal it because we don't want to have to come see you. Jacen cute, but I'll pull up. Don't be stealing the stuff now. Okay, Jacen, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I want you to kind of speak more to it. What is a common misconception about intentional safe practices, intentional sex practices in the Black LGBT community that you want to debunk?
I think that a lot of times people have these calculated mind frames around sex
Mhm.
or sexual experiences and policing sexual policies. Like sometimes you just want to have fun. And we should
Mhm.
be able to have fun and it not be so complicated.
Yeah.
I'm at one time, I will be honest, I used to be really judgy on my friends that were like, a bit more promiscuous than me, and I think a lot of it just came from jealousy that they were able to be so liberated and free with how they
Mm,
chose to have sex. Um, and even though like now I'm still not that person, I'm not like extremely sexual. Like of course I've had sex, we all do, we all have our moments. But shout out to the people that are free and experiment and explore. Like when I think about like, back in the day we used to have clubs that had dark rooms and like people will go into the dark rooms and living their best lives. And not to say that I wish that could be me, but I wish that could have been me. I was not that
yeah,
free. I was like still, no, we're
yeah,
going to wait till we get home. We're going to do it in the bedroom. And, we're not going to be, at the bookstore or the park or here, doing this, and the third. So shout out to everybody that, was able to explore those things. And I've had my experiences, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to act like I'm like this saint, but, yeah. So yeah.
I love
yeah,
that, Jason, because that's definitely something I've learned as I gotten older. Is that the sexual journey is a part of the liberation. That's a part of our liberation journey. It's very much a part of our experience. It's a very much a part of how we communicate, how we congregate, how we show up in community,
yeah.
and that's something that I too. Back in, not too long ago, I was a little more judgy on the judgier side. Like, why we always got to do sex and why everything has to be about sex, when I'm learning that it's the journey, like Tisha Campbell told us.
Mhm.
It's definitely a part. It's bigger than just like, oh, we hook up. It's definitely, especially in these times where our rights, our liberty, our existence is being legislated out.
Okay. And can I just add, I'm just going to throw this in real quick. For Black queer men our age, which means we've never lived in a world where AIDS and HIV wasn't a thing. And I'm saying AIDS because in the time that we were born, I was born in 88. We were in the middle of an AIDS epidemic. So we are not people who've ever lived in a world as Black queer men who ever lived in a world where we weren't told to be careful and shamed around how we had sex because of HIV and
Yes.
AIDS. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of that world, actually having sex in these places and going to sex parties, it is an act of rebellion, it's an act of defiance, it's an act of revolution. Saying like taking our power back and like knowing that we live in a time where science has caught up to our pleasure. And so I wanted to just add that to it. But
That's
go ahead.
awesome. Yeah. No,
Mhm.
Kai, we love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I think I got do I have the next
You do,
question?
you just think
I thought I did number 6, activists. Oh, you did misconception.
yes.
All right, Jason, your next rapid fire question is, give us a favorite local, one or two or three, local business here in Philly that supports LGBTQ Philly. Drop some of those businesses, restaurants, organizations that you want to shout out, that has been showing love to the LGBTQ Philly community.
So I'm gonna be very intentional when I say this because I'm going to speak to people that have been pouring into the Black LGBTQ plus community because it's really important that we say that because there are a lot of organizations here in the city of Philadelphia that do work, but specifically when it comes to Black and Brown community, even in 2025, that still looks a bit murky. So I definitely want to shout out Babashi Transition to Hope, Sabrina Tate, Nafisa, Michael Melvin. The work that Babashi does for people of color in totality is exceptional. They just opened up their brand new facility in West Philadelphia. They have a food pantry. They have a necessities closet where you can go get suits and clothing. They offer a wellness center, that doesn't just care about you as wellness is projected to be, but wellness holistically when it comes to mind, body, spirit, heart, all those things. So Babashi definitely is definitely an organization that I feel like does not get enough flowers. So Sabrina, shout out to you guys over there at Babashi. You guys have doing the work, and I thank you for showing up for community the way that y'all do, and also not being exclusive to just LGBTQ plus colored folk, but at the same time, really setting up a space to where we can go somewhere and get the services that we need. So yeah, shout out to Babashi. Y'all see I love Babashi, right? Um, I will also say when it comes to gender affirming care, and gender affirming care looks different, and I'm speaking of of Dr. B over at Avelina Aesthetics that does Botox and fillers and POD threads and dietary stuff. Like she really is very intentional on wrapping her hands around. She likes to call us her blues because blue is like a favorite color that she identifies with when it comes to LGBTQ plus communities. So shout out to Dr. B over at Abilene Aesthetics. She's definitely somebody that pours into the community and provides a safe, comfortable space in the northeast of Philadelphia, private location that you can go and get your gender affirming care or whatever you need as far as cosmetically, she's going to take care of you. So shout out to Babashi Transition to Hope and Dr. B over at Avelina Aesthetics.
Now, was Dr. B where you took your mama?
Yes, she is where I took
It
my
was
mama.
the
Yes.
cutest video. I want to just shout out to that. I don't know if you saw that, Eric, but Jacen took his mama for her birthday, and
Get
it was
Botox.
Come on, Aries. Big Aries season.
Every season.
y'all. My birthday is tomorrow, so listen. I love my food.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. You're blessed to have an Aries. You got more than one Aries in your life, so God is good to you.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so we're almost done with the game, but we want to know, what is your self-care ritual after an intense week of organizing and events? Honey, what is self-care giving? Is it Dr. B?
Believe it or not, self-care is me coming home. Clothes get dropped off at the front door. I will lay in my bed, butt naked, and do a nasty death scroll on social media and just sit in quiet and just watch the videos and just laugh and breathe. Like a lot of times, like even when I drive, another self-care moment is just like people don't understand the amount of energy and just energy. I'm gonna just start there that it takes to drive. And a lot of times I would get home, I would sit in the parking spot, I would be in my car, and I would sit there for about 45 minutes to an hour before I even get out. And it's my moment to just process everything that happened. No music, just me in the car. And I just literally would just sit there.
I do that
Like
too.
that's what self-care looks like for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to pulling up to your house and sitting in the car for a moment just to gather your thoughts. And I also wanted to shout out, you were really speaking well on Babashi. Babashi is my prep provider. That's where I go for my testing. So shout out to Babashi. They're right out here on 40th and Woodland. That new office opened up.
And they still have Babashi North located on Spring Garden. I forget the exact
They
address.
still over there?
Yeah, they still have it over there. So it's 1225 Spring Garden, I think it is. I don't want to be misquoted, but I think that's the address.
Okay.
But they're also on Spring Garden as well. So shout out to Babashi. Keep doing the work that y'all are doing in any ways that we can show up and be supportive and uplift and magnify y'all's name. Y'all already know I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you go. Now I'm curious though, Kai, before we get into the interview, Jacen and I pulling up to the crib and sitting in the car for 40 minutes when we need to decompress. As somebody who's in a relationship and you live with your partner, when do you find those times to like just decompress?
Honey, I'm in a marriage. I live with my husband, be clear.
Wait, what did I say? Did I say boyfriend?
You said relationship. No, you was fine. I just
Okay. No, call it what
you gotta let the girls know.
Well,
You know, she loved throwing this ring around, child.
Got to
just
let the
like
girls
in the
know.
commercial, child.
Got to let the girls know. Listen, I did my work. Well, y'all, let's say I did my work to get here. Self-care for me, really, and I'll say this, it was an unlearning because I think we all probably share something. You've been independent so long. And that's really why I pinpoint being married. The hardest part is allowing someone to be there for you.
Yes.
Somebody ain't doing the man right.
Yup. The hardest part is like coming in, allowing someone to like, because, and I'll get into it later, but when we do the type of work we do, it is so much brokenness that comes because you take so many hits along the way, especially as Black queer men, the kind of gay men that you can't help but notice we gay when we walk in the room. Like you take so many hits and there's so much disappointment, but you have to keep pushing in order to get the thing done. And so having somebody like, we're not ever used to it. Our family didn't teach us how to have someone show up for us because they didn't. Like our friends don't always teach us how to do that because they didn't. And so when you get into a relationship or you get into a marriage, like learning how to let that person show up and let your guard down. Like it's really what you said, Jacen. I definitely take my clothes off, but I take my clothes off physically and emotionally. And somebody, and that was actually really, really hard. So I'm glad that you actually asked that, Eric, because that's the hardest part. It was letting somebody like be there for me. That was self-care. And self-care is just like saying the thing, like saying like, baby, I'm so disappointed today that I ain't get invited to the Glad Honors Awards. I'm so I'm so like, like real stuff. Like I'm so like sad that this didn't work out. I'm so sad that Eric and I like tried to go for this sponsorship and they said, nah, we good. Like really saying those things in places that's not always safe to say them. But the
Period.
time has come to get into Philly Black Pride, baby. Jacen, tell the listeners, tell the people who are on live, what can attendees expect this year at Philly's Black Pride events? What's all going on?
What ain't going on? There are so many different events happening this year. We are really like in like full activation mode when it comes to Pride. I could say like last year or maybe the year before last, like our first year like out of COVID. So I will say that this year we have a full calendar of events, and it's actually starting on April the 23rd. April the 23rd, Council Member Rue Landau and Councilwoman Kendra Brooks is having a invite only awards gala for community members at Thea Philly. So that's going to be happening on Wednesday. Then from there, Thursday, we have Queerly Beloved and the Gay Games Frolic Weekend. They have a big weekend in Boston and Rhode Island. They're coming to Philly and they're doing a Gay Games night at Thea Philly as well. And we also have the first ever queer artist showcase. One of our board members, Julian King, he was on The Voice. Julian's known, for his artistic sound, right? He is producing Queerly Beloved Showcase on behalf of Philly Black Pride. So it's going to be the first time that we have reactivated this. We used to do like a queer artist showcase in the past, but like now we're doing it again, just modernized. So it'd be a great free event that people can come and hear music from queer artists. So that's going to be really, really dope. And I always say it's free, but we are definitely encouraging donations. You guys have no idea how hard it was to produce Pride this year underneath these circumstances. I will say that we were still lucky to receive funding from our sponsors, but it was not in the capacity of what it has been years before, obviously because of DEI rollbacks, obviously because they are cutting funding for HIV prevention. Studies and research and
Yeah.
access to care. So, but I also want to be intentional that when we're talking about Pride, that we're meeting this moment and we're going to celebrate Black queer joy. I repeat, Black queer joy. There is so many heavy things happening around us that in this moment, I don't want Philly Black Pride to be such a political stance. Of course, there are things that are happening at the federal level, at our local level, that is important. But in this moment, this celebration is strictly about joy. So I want to just make sure that I reiterate that because, like, I can't say
Yeah.
this enough. I want y'all to come and I want y'all to have a great time. After that, we are also having our opening. Oh, before I get to the opening reception, we're having a flag raising at City Hall. So the More Colors, More Pride flag will be raised at City Hall at 1 p.m. It will be a flag celebration. DJ Kid Rock will be there. We're going to also have scheduled speakers: Malcolm Kenyatta, the first ever queer man, Black queer man elected to the state assembly, and the first ever Black queer man that is the vice chair of the DNC party. He is scheduled to speak along with AJ Heights, who was the former executive director of LGBTQ Affairs, that also throws the Sway Philly events. Jakia is going to be singing. We're also going to have spoken word from Queen Fair. So the opening reception is going to be really, really dope. I'm actually speaking I'm sorry, not the open reception, the flag raising. I keep skipping to the open reception. The flag raising is going to be really, really dope. After that, it's going to be the opening reception at our host hotel, which is the Club Quarters on 1628 Chestnut Street. It's going to be a lot of different elected officials that have been invited, a lot of different things happening. We're also going to honor Tyrone Smith. We lost Tyrone a couple weeks ago. Definitely someone who has paved the way for Black and brown queerness in the city of Philadelphia. He was already scheduled to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. We are going to still honor him. I don't know why. Forgive me, y'all. I'm very educated, but when it comes to this word, I always stumble. Post, po- post,
Post
post,
posthumously.
po- po-
Posthumously.
Yes,
Yeah.
Posthumously or
Possibly.
whatever.
posthumously, yes,
Yeah.
posthumously. So his family's going to be there to accept on in his honor. So really excited about the open reception. We're also having a silent auction. We got some things that we're going to kind of like silently auction away. So we're really excited about that as well. Saturday, it was supposed to be a posse ball with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, but that got postponed for a later date. We're doing a rooted wellness retreat. Rooted wellness is going to be something that is going to be fun because it's going to be, think about relay games, basketball, double dutch, sound bathing, yoga,
Ooh,
fitness.
I love
It'll be a
it.
great resource where a lot of different organizations will be there tabling and telling you about services that they offer. But we really didn't want it to be such a lot of time when you think of a wellness retreat, it sounds very boring and very clinical. We wanted to do it in an interactive way, which is more current, and so people can have a rooted wellness experience. So you'll have matcha drinks, you'll have Monster Energy will be there to give you some energy drinks to kind of keep the energy going throughout.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. I skipped something. Go back. Friday night, because every night nightlife has so much going on, right?
Yeah.
So let me go through. How about this? I'm going to go through our actual Pride things, and then I'm going to go
Yeah.
to nightlife separately. So after that, on Sunday is the Queer Empowerment Summit. The Queer Empowerment Summit will be a bunch of different panels. We have Rashana Lyons that's going to actually be there. She's going to be on a panel curated by Mother Knows. We're going to also have another panel with a couple other surprises that I can't say yet. We're also going to have a all trans woman panel. Madeline, Sexy Lexi, Miss Tina Montgomery, Aubrey. So, just getting the girls together to have a conversation about their lived experience navigating through their lives. So I'm really excited about that panel, but there's going to be tons of different panels that each one covers something different that talks about things that are affecting us right now in this climate that we are living in. So that's all of like the official like Pride stuff. But then, baby, when it gets to nightlife, let me tell y'all something. We definitely got some things for you. Number one, the happy hour mixer, which is hosted by the main event, that is happening on Friday. We also have the skate after dark, which is happening right across the bridge in Germantown. Oh, no, I'm sorry, right across the bridge in Camden. I keep saying Germantown. Why do I keep saying that? Because Germantown's across the bridge from me over here. But Camden, we're going to have the skate after dark. Also on Friday, we have the Deviant Events Party. If you guys know anything about Deviant, it was a good time last year. We're at an all new venue, a lot bigger than what it was. I can't say, but you better get your tickets because I'm telling you guys right now, Deviant is going to be a vibe. Um, Also Saturday, George Renee is having a red and white affair, which is from 2 to 7. We got the grown folks only Philly Black Pride 90 to 2000 party. We also have Sway Philly is having another spring fling. And then Saturday night is a after hours that opens at 1 a.m. that is hosted by Medusa's Playground. So it's a lot of different things that is happening there. Also, Sunday, you got the day party that Sway is throwing. You got the block party that is free in the neighborhood. And then we got the finale party, which is hosted by yours truly and Big Sexy. So as you guys see, it is a lot happening during Black Pride.
Yes. You about to be busy. You better make sure you drinking your Monster Energy drinks. 'Cause,
Child, I better make sure I
baby,
sleep. I gotta sleep up until the 23rd because baby, I'm going to be war by the 28th. Okay.
no,
I was about to
listen.
say, get your sleep in up until the 23rd because this is going to be on and popping unpacker. So look, Jacen just ran down a lot because despite the cutbacks, despite the people coming for the gay and queer community, we moving forward. Philly Black Pride is packed, and the way you can see everything that Jacen just outlined, including information on the host hotel, because it looks like you can book your room up until April 11th. You can
And can
find
I
out.
say something about that? Not to cut
Yeah,
you off. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I want y'all to really understand. I know, like in this era of queer, it's a lot different. So a lot of people don't see the reason for a host hotel, right? Because I've gotten into some of these conversations like, well, we could just get an Airbnb. The host hotel is another form of community, and community at a great price. 189 a night, not happening in the city of brotherly love, especially during Penn Relay weekend.
Mm,
So please take advantage. I know us as Black and brown queer people, we operate on CP time. Don't operate on CP time and then get here to Philly and you calling me like, yo, Jacen, can I come stay with you? No. No. Should have got that host hotel at 189 a night. So go to phillyblackpride.org. If you click the host hotel, you can get transferred over to our room block. I'm encouraging you guys to get it while you fit it. And the great thing about this too with the host hotel, if something happens and you decide that you don't want to come, there's not a cancellation fee if you cancel. So again, take advantage of it. Get that host hotel room. Let's go.
And is there room to add safety on that list, Jacen,
Yes.
especially in these times? Can you unpack like why, like you talked about like community and being in this one space, but I'm also feeling like safety is another good reason why I would, especially if I'm not from Philly, I don't know anyone from Philly, but I want to participate and enjoy Philly Black Pride. To me, the host hotel would be the safest route to go.
And the reason why I stay too is because it's also not far from where everything is happening at. And let's be honest, we all like to drink and party and do things that we like to do as grown folk. And with that, you want to be somewhere where it's easy, accessible for you to get to if you have to walk. Because if you have to walk, you can walk right there and you
Yeah.
cool. Or if you want to jump in your Ubers, $15 at most, you're great. So definitely make sure you guys book at the host hotel, visit phillyblackpride.org, click the host hotel link, and you guys will be able to book your hotel for way down the night.
Absolutely. Y'all make sure y'all book y'all host hotel room. Listen, if you got to walk or you got to run, whatever you
Yeah.
got going on.
Don't call me.
We don't
call
care
Jacen
how
and
you
don't call
get
me.
there, just get there if you can.
Yes.
Because I don't got no extra space. And Jacen just said you can't stay with him. So get it together, girls.
I want to shift gears because Eric just talked about safety. I'm interested to know. I feel like I do know, but we talked about the Safe Philly campaign being a part of the opening reception, launching there. And I want to know, Jacen, if you could say in your own words, why was it important for you to join the Safe Philly campaign? And what do you think it meant for you to be a part of this initiative?
So a lot of people don't know or may have forgotten, but I was actually a part of a couple campaigns in the city of Philadelphia, such as the Love Your Brother campaign, and there was another syphilis outbreak in Philly, and we did a syphilis campaign too with Better World Advertising. And the reason why I got involved then was because I got tired of seeing these marketing campaigns and people did not look like me. And when I say look like me, there was nobody from community that I knew. So a lot of times I know that we as people in community, we listen to folks that, Jacen can tell me this and I'm going to listen to what he says. Or this one can tell me this, oh, I know him. So like, let me listen to what they have going on. So when I got involved with the Love Your Brother campaign and then both times, I know Keep On Loving Philly also had produced some things as well with the Philadelphia Public Health Department,
Yeah.
but I didn't see it. I didn't see enough of that. So when we had all got on a conference call, we started talking about ideas and brainstorming. I was like, oh, I definitely want to get involved with this again because it's really important that we have these uncensored, meet you where you at, authentic, genuine conversations around sexual wellness and safety. And that's why I wanted to get involved. That's why I did get involved. That's why I'm very proud of what we were able to produce. I think like right now, we're almost at over a million views of people that have seen it through the city on SEPTA. Shout out to SEPTA because we're on a lot of bus depots in the neighborhood and all throughout the city of Philadelphia. I even get people texting me like, "Oh my God, I just saw the Safe Philly campaign when I was on my way to work this morning." So like,
Period.
I know that there's definitely a need for that. And even when you think about the PSA, yes, there has been tons of PSAs that have been done, but this PSA was a conversation with four people that look like us, that talk like us, that dress like us, that experience life like us. And it was important to have different conversations around sexual health, safety, and wellness because these are conversations that we have offline with our friends. And I
Yeah.
feel like each one of us represented a friend that I know that I have conversations with about things that we participate in. So it was great and refreshing. And I was really excited, that we were able to produce something great. I hope that the campaign, continues. What's up, Beef? But yeah,
Yeah.
so excited.
Absolutely.
That's what's up. I know one of the things I definitely appreciated us being able to tell our own stories as queer Black men here in Philly about what sex looks like, what that journey looks like for all of us. Shout out to PKOL, Philly Keep on Loving, because I've done a lot of work with them. But I
Mm-hmm.
think, and not taking away from that campaign, I think what set this one aside, what makes this one different, what makes Safe Philly campaign a little different, is that we all were able to get in there and tell our journey.
Oh,
And I
but wait a
love.
minute. Hold on. Because that wasn't my real journey. So,
I knew he
Kyle,
was about to do that.
yeah, because I had to correct that. Kyle, you wrote the hell out of that script.
Yes, Jacen was the only one who was representing a character at
We
in the
made it so personal during the commercial.
We
I'm
did.
thinking that's everybody living their truth.
I know. And you know what's so funny? Because I was talking to one
But
of my
it's a
friends.
reflection. I think I did a reaction video on my Instagram, and it was just us being able to reflect back into the community, like different perspectives, because we
Mhm.
all kind of look at this thing a little bit differently. And I can't wait, Jacen, for you to drop your unedited, uncut, raw version of the commercial, because the bag, we all got the bag. A lot of us got the bag.
A lot of us do have the bag. Like, and then you know what's so crazy? After the bag got talked about, I showed one of my friends, and it was like, "Well, where was your wet wipes?" And I was like, "Yeah, where was the wet wipes at? How am I cleaning up after the?" Oops,
Oh,
telling y'all
when
too
you
much.
post it, that should be a challenge. Like post it and tell people to add stuff in the comments to the
Oh
bag.
yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure you
Y'all know
tag.
What's
that.
missing?
You
What's
know what
missing
I'm
in my
not ready
bag?
for? I'm not ready for that going viral because I have a feeling that it's going to go viral. So I'm not ready for that piece. But whatever,
Listen,
I'm gonna have to get ready. It's all right.
I
Yeah.
needed to go viral.
Somebody ain't doing the math right.
I needed to go viral because that helps me in these meetings. You know,
Oh,
Right,
I
the
just want to go
musician,
on
right,
record.
guys?
I just want to go on record and say like it's easy for everybody else to say that because it's like it's a little bit more of a challenge for me because of what I do for work. So it's kind of like
yeah,
ah,
yeah, and I
but it's
mean,
all right.
but I appreciate your courage, and because I think a lot of times the character that you represented is stigmatized, and the truth of the matter is that there's so many people who do the work you do, who have jobs, who are in politics, who at the White House, who got their bag and had the bag had everything in it that your character's bag had in it.
Okay.
And so I
Mhm.
think, there's something to say about normalizing who we are at work and who we are, honey, when in the after hour.
Or I just don't want to be in no meeting. They be like, "You got your bag?" I'm gonna be like, "Hello."
Tell them don't
Listen,
ask you that. We
branding.
brand in the bag. They can get a bag. They gotta
Yeah,
wait
it's
till the to
branding.
the to the copyright come out.
Right.
Period. So let's unpack with you, Jacen. We've talked so much about the community, how people in the community can show up, what we can do better, how we can participate in Pride. But what we haven't talked about is allyship. And I know just from watching your social media and the work that you've done out in the community, you're very vocal about how we should be showing up in the community, but also like the need for allyship and what allyship looks like. Can you unpack that for the unpackers? How important is it for allies to show up in the community, and what does that look like for you?
I don't believe in allies. I believe in accomplices
Mm.
because a black queer issue or a queer issue. Let me remove color out of this for just a millisecond. A queer issue is a everybody issue.
Hmm.
Y'all hear me, right? Y'all watching?
Yeah.
Y'all hear me? A queer issue is a everybody issue. And I think that we have spent or have watched people spend so much time dividing us that there is so many things about us that are exactly alike. And I don't have time for an ally because the ally gets to come in for a month and wave a flag and be, yeah, gay power, yeah, honey, word. But then they get to go home. And we are still faced with the same challenges 364 days a year or 330 days a year. I'm going to
Mhm.
take away
Mhm.
some 34, 4 years, 4 days leading up to Pride Month and then the 30 days of June. Let's take away 34 days, right? So
Yeah.
we're still left with Pride for me is every single day.
Yeah.
So when it comes to allies, I don't believe in the allies. I need accomplices. I need you to get mixy with me. When I rob this bank, I need you in
Mhm.
the bank with me.
Yeah.
And thank
Set
you
it
for
off up
breaking
in
that
here. I
down.
need you to set it off when it comes to queer issues, when it comes to trans issues, when it comes to non-binary issues. when it comes to gender affirming care, when it comes to HIV or health disparities. Like, I need you in the trenches. No more just saying I'm an ally. That's cute. We're past ally. I need you out here with me every day. Are you a part of this mission or what? Because I ain't got time to keep on playing. This is serious.
Yeah.
So
Lives
y'all
are
watching me at home, understand when y'all talk to me, I need you to be an accomplice. How can you get involved and show support every day, not just when it's convenient? Because it's not convenient for me to take this hat off and not worry about my community. This is every day, 365, 25/8, not 24/7, 25/8. I kind of hate that. No shade. Yeah, but yeah, 25/8.
No, you talking heavy. You talking, and lives are at stake. And so it's important for us to remember that none of us are free until we all are.
Right.
And that's what you're saying. So I
And
definitely.
I also want black gay men, just gay men, period, but especially our black gay men, understand how important it is for you to show respect, for you to honor, for you to uplift our trans community.
Yes.
Not enough of y'all are doing that. Not enough of y'all are showing up.
And doing it when it's not convenient.
And doing it when it's not convenient, and also not using our trans girls or trans men as accessories. They're not pocketbooks. They're not watches or rings or jewelry.
Or a fetish.
Or a fetish. Or a fetish.
Eric,
How about that?
yes.
Or a fetish.
Heavy on the aura fetish. Absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for breaking that down.
This is why you're the vice president.
I get it.
Black pride.
I get a little passionate when it comes to this stuff, especially when it comes
we
to,
love
when it comes to skin folk. Like, y'all got to do better, man. Like, y'all got to do better.
Absolutely. We agree here at Unpacking. I mean, it's good to have another voice added that are echoing the same sentiments. Now, Jacen, we're at the end of the interview, and we always give our guests the last word, the last call to action. And so we want you to have the last word and be able to let people know how they can get involved with the Philly Black Pride this year, how they can get involved with the Safe Philly campaign. But before I give you the mic for the last word, I want to do to you the same thing I did, because I have to do this to y'all, to my Black queer community leaders, because I don't feel like people do it enough. And I did it last week when Kenya Hutton was on the show. I want to do it with you. I want to, before I give you the mic, just say thank you for how you show up, because what I know, having done the work, is that there is so much behind the scenes that we have to deal with that people don't get to see. They see us at these events, they see us beat, they see us dress, they see us when it all comes together. They do not know the amount of failure we experience, the amount of adversity we experience, the amount of times it's our own people, the very people that we're fighting for and advocating for and saying yes for, that won't support us, and that actually go out their way to close the door for us, that go out their way to not support and see us fail. And yet we show up for those people. We show up for that community. And so I want to say thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of Eric, on behalf of Unpacking, on behalf of Philly, for constantly showing up. Because which y'all will know, there's never a time where I text you and asked you for something and the answer wasn't yes. There's never a time where I needed your support. And Lord knows, as the first Black queer Philly duo, we're actually the first Black queer duo nationally, but no shade. But doing that on radio, it was so hard, and we couldn't do it in Philly without your help. And there's never been a time where it wasn't whatever. And it wasn't, now I'm gonna make sure you get a check, but you never led with that. You never asked for a cost. It was always yes first. It was yes before you knew we were sponsored. It was yes before you knew there was any way that it could benefit you. And so I just want to publicly say that, because people say thank you all the time in private. They say thank you and they give people their flowers on times in private, but what they won't do is go on their public platforms and give people their flowers. And so I want to just introduce that. Y'all could, feel however y'all want to feel, but what I do know is that your heart is really in this community. And so you got the mic now, Jacen. I just needed to say that first. You let them know how they can be involved with Philly.
Well, I mean, you done dropped the mic. Am I supposed to pick it up? Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, just let them know. Just let them know. Let them know how they can follow Philly Black Pride and where they can find all the events. So
definitely, you guys want to make sure that you will follow me on all things social media. JAC as in Charlie, ENBOWMAN on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. I'm there. Blue Sky. It's another one I just downloaded that's owned by somebody, y'all. I'm so sick of all these social media apps. I can't keep up.
You're not talking about Spill, are you?
Yeah, Spill. I'm still trying to get the Spill is just, it's a lot of spilling going on over there. But anyway, whole nother interview. But Make sure you guys are following Philly Black Pride. There's a lot of different things that are happening and ways that you guys can get involved in the city of Philadelphia. There is a LGBTQ town hall that is happening at the William Wade Center, which is really going to be a call to action. There's going to be a lot of resources. The former executive director, Selena Morrison McLean, is going to be hosting that. I'll be posting on Philly Black Pride's page. It's happening this week. But come, because you're going to be able to hear from a lot of nonprofit organizations and a lot of people in regards to things and that we can do to navigate these turbulent times that are happening right now, coming down from the federal administration. But I also want to say this, and what I'm going to say might not be liked, right? I want you guys to really sit with your communities and develop a plan. We are not going to waste 4 more years or 3.5 arguing or shouting about Trump. What's the plan? Sit in that. What is the plan? Because while you guys are building community, and I also know sometimes we got to take a break from this. What's the plan? That's the conversation you should be having with your friends. That's the conversation you should be having with your family. That's the conversation that you guys should be having when building community. I don't want to keep wasting time talking about what Trump. We know what's going on. We've seen it. We're seeing it. What's the plan? So my call to action, if you don't have a plan, it's time to get one. It's time to fall in line with one. What's the plan? I don't want to waste time and keep arguing about Trump. Kamala told us what he was going to do. Y'all didn't believe her. But I'm a part of the 92% I believed. And now that we're here, I want to also say, stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Stay in light. Come out of them dark rooms. You don't sit in them dark rooms.
Now, which one? Because I might.
No, none of them.
Like,
How about that? None of
okay.
them.
Because some of them be,
In every group of friends, there's a Bayard Rustin.
Hey, come on
There's
here.
there's a Marsha P.
Yes.
There's a Crystal LaBeija.
Yes.
You better develop a plan.
You the Crystal LaBeija.
Child, I guess so. Taken the wrong way. She looked bad. No, but in all seriousness, also allow yourself some grace. Like, don't watch so much or consume so much, but be aware and stay up to date what's going on. But please, while you guys are building community, whatever community may look like for you, make sure that when you're having these conversations, you're figuring out a plan of how we're going to show up.
Ashe.
I say, what's the plan? Jacen want to know what's the plan, and I appreciate you creating space.
I have a
for
plan.
all the girls.
I have a plan. I ain't gonna say my plan right here, but the community knows what the plan is. But I want you guys to think about that. What's the plan?
Yeah. Everybody should have a plan.
Yeah, a lot of the group texts are filled with what's going down to the Real Housewives and the Potomac and all of that, and that's cute. But there's more serious things for us to be discussing, especially as gay queer people. And so I just love that. And listen, Unpackers, come out to Philly Pride. Jacen, his board, everyone who has invested time, energy, and money and space into Philly Black Pride this year have created something for everybody at every time of the day. If you want to be out late at night, they got something for you earlier on in the day. And I promise you, I know sometimes we can be a little defeated. We don't feel like going. We don't want to have to look for parking. Oh, I ain't got a whole lot of money. Oh, I don't like my outfit. It's so much that comes in our head that prevents us from stepping out and being in the community until you just push yourself and you do it and you get there and you're like, damn, I'm really glad that I came out tonight. Wow, I'm really glad that I met these people that I met tonight. Come out and experience Philly Pride this year. Jacen, I'm a fan. I admire everything that you do. And I think the closest I've been to you is for this Safe Philly campaign. So just working with you has been an honor, and I hope to only do more with you in the future. This was amazing, Unpackers.
This
Jacen
this was this
Bowman.
this was the plan. This was the plan. Remember, we sat and we talked about what the plan was, and we
Uh-huh.
executed the plan.
Uh-huh.
Also, if y'all don't know, I am headlining the Roots Picnic. Go to rootspicnic.com and get your
Yes.
tickets. Roots Picnic is going to be lit.
It's
That's on Saturday that I'm headlining.
crazy.
And then
You
on
bringing the
Sunday,
ballroom to the main
I'm
stage.
bringing Ballroom to the main stage. First
This
time
is
ever, Ballroom
insane.
is going to be headlining a music festival. Shout out to Live Nation Urban, House of Love. It is going down at the Roots Picnic on May the 31st. And then on June 1st, we are back in the neighborhood for the Gay Pride Festival. So look, I'm going to be wore out that weekend too, child. But it's all right. It's all about community. And it's about
Absolutely.
it's also about making sure that we have as many opportunities to celebrate and to feel joy.
Yes. Yes. And
Period.
when y'all see Jacen out doing Pride, ask him if he got his bag. Ask him
Yes.
if he got his bag on him.
Look, they're gonna be
Unpackers.
they're gonna be thinking I'm a good old slut, and I'm not even a slut. That's not even who I am.
Y'all probably ain't
No
no different than
judgment.
what y'all doing. Okay.
Yes.
Listen. This was dope, Kai. Thank you for putting tonight's interview together. Shout out to Kai, Unpackers. This is going to be Kai's last live on Unpacking as we're
It
gearing up
is.
to the opening reception. Kai is moving on, and we're
Yes.
supporting him in this new space as a
So
brother.
wait, I was the martini.
You were my last interview. You were the nightcap. And it couldn't be nobody else. I got to go out with a bang, giving you
Well,
your flowers.
I gotta.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jacen. This was
No,
amazing.
thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for the way y'all have poured into me and allowed me to pour back into y'all. And thank you to all the unpackers out there. Continue to unpack, but make sure you pack up your plan. I'm gonna keep telling y'all
Absolutely.
that when you see me, you better make sure that plan is packed in that bag, baby, because to freedom.
Okay.
Listen,
You got your poppers and everything else in that bag. Do you got your plan?
do you got your
Jacen gonna
plan?
ask
You
you.
got your plan.
Do you got your
And on
plan?
that note,
Ashe.
good night. Ashe,
Good
good night,
night,
unpackers.
y'all.
Good night, fellas. Thank you.